The provided Apex class and Visualforce Page implement functionality to increment a counter when a button is clicked. Apex class actionStatus. The class actionStatus defines an integer variable count initialized to 0. It includes a method named incrementCounter, which increments the count variable by 1 when called. The method returns null. Another method getCount is defined to retrieve the current value of the count variable. Visualforce Page. The Visualforce Page includes an Apex forma containing an Apex outputPanel with the ID counter. Inside the outputPanel, an Apex outputText component displays the current value of the count variable. An Apex actionSupport component is used to trigger the incrementCounter method when the outputText is clicked, event equals the onclick. The action attribute points to the incrementCounter method defined in the Apex controller. The reRender attribute specifies the ID of the component counter to be refreshed after the action is performed. The status attribute associates an Apex actionStatus component with the actionSupport, enabling visual feedback during the action. An Apex actionStatus component with the ID counter status is defined to display a processing message when the action is triggered and a completed message when it finishes. Functionality. When the output texted click me, count is clicked, the incrementCounter method is called, incrementing the count variable by 1. The Apex actionSupport component re-renders the output panel, re-render equals a counter, updating the displayed count. During the execution of the action, the Apex actionStatus component displays the start text, processing, to indicate that the action is in progress. After completion, it displays the stop text, completed. Usage. This setup allows users to increment a counter by clicking on the displayed text. Visual feedback is provided to indicate when the action is being processed and when it's completed. Overall, this implementation demonstrates how to use actionSupport and actionStatus components to create interactive and responsive user interfaces in Visualforce Pages.